no place like our home. Hoist the sails high, let the solar winds blow. This cosmic sea shanty is a tale we all know. Navigating constellations, charting the unknown. With the stardust in our veins, we are never alone. From the Milky Way shores to the depths of black holes, we'll sing our sea shanty as the universe unfolds. Sail up high to the galactic sky on our moonlit voyage. We'll keep reaching high. We're sailors of the cosmos, a crew full of might. Let's sing this sea shanty under starry night's light.
Hoist the sails and let the wind guide our way. We're the spacemen sailing the cosmic bay. From Jupiter to Saturn we'll deliver our freight on our starship, sailing through the interplanetary strait. With a hardy crew and a cargo of dreams, through the nebula's mist we'll forge our own schemes. In the vastness of space where no man has been, we'll navigate, chart the unexplored galactic highway. Heave ho, mateys, upon the starry sea. We're the spacemen sailing through infinity. With our voices loud and our spirits free, we'll voyage across the celestial sea. Oh, 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 voyage across the celestial sea. Oh.
From the darkness of will shining is cosmic victory. darkness of the cosmos we set sail. Through crimson skies our ship prevails. Across the stars a celestial flight, metal warriors bound by might. Ooh, yeah. In this realm of shadows darkness unfurls, a symphony of chaos, where planets swirl and nebula of fury untamed, sail through the void where nothing's the same. We ride through the cosmos, a metal storm, defying gravity, our spirits transform through supernovas and celestial.
Greetings, ladies and mental gents, and welcome to the stream. That took a lot of effort to start. Been a rough morning. As you can see, don't even have my battle uniform on. Don't worry, the bot got banned. Hope everyone is doing well today on this Monday morning, as well as can be on this Monday morning.
Deep in the Martian soil, searching for that precious oil with pickaxes.
Good morning, Gene, Nigel, TX Loud, Lord Volpex,
Cosmic shore,
Samantha, Postmatic, Nigel, Marcus, Charles,
living treasures under the sun, in the cratered plains where no one dreamt, where the pioneers
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Charles. I really am. Good morning, Slow Motion, as well. And Bot. The bot is gone. Might be a gaming stream. I haven't really planned much. So, I've been sneezing quite badly today. It's death by 1,000 sneezes. So, took some antihistamines, which are great, except for one tiny little problem is they dry your vocal cords out. So, that's great. And then just as I was about to stream, the delivery guys for our groceries arrived. So I had to unpack all the groceries from the truck. So that's why I was a bit late. And as you can hear, the voice sounds so fantastic today. And then also I didn't sleep well. So, yay, Monday. Thank you. I do try. I've taken more care of my hair in the last year than I have in my life. And there's an angry dog outside. Well, not angry, it's just mildly upset. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the content, William Wallace, and thank you for freeing Scotland, or whatever it was. Don't mean to be disrespectful, but the only William Wallace I really remember is Braveheart. And it's a movie, and movies are about as accurate to history as pizza is to bread. Dirty glasses, because why not? But yeah, so this whole weekend, we've been packing boxes, moving furniture, what we're going to keep, what we're going to sell or throw away. So that's probably why the sinuses are poked, is all the dust and stuff being kicked up. Oh. And I think the other problem, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, before I was streaming all of this, I would just stream later in the day when everything settled down. Oh, thank you very much, Gene Donald, for the 5 gifted memberships. It is very much appreciated. Just to note that the gifted memberships are given out randomly. Neither the gifter or I choose. But thank you very much. Yeah, very much. Look, I like the short back and sides. I had a undercut for a very long time. So this is just a shorter version of that, and a bit longer on the sides. I used to go to like a 1 on the sides. Well, my throat isn't sore necessarily. I'm just dehydrated. So with dehydration and narration, it takes 2 hours to hydrate your vocal cords. So I need to drink 2 liters of water now, and then in 2 hours, my vocal cords might be hydrated enough to work. But this is mostly lack of sleep, and then just my sinuses, and then anti-inflammatory, antihistamine. So antihistamines just dry out the nasal passage and the larynx, which you kind of need for narrating. So there's a special one I'm supposed to take, but we don't have it. So I just had to take a normal one. The special one doesn't dry you out. Yes, movies are cheesier than history. Well, sometimes. Depends on the history. Unless it's, Monty Python, because those are just documentaries. That's exactly how history happened. Yeah, most days I wake up at 7 in the morning, and by 9 o'clock, I would have had to have drunk between 2 and 3 liters of water. So, it's a stupid thing, but it's not easy, especially the first thing in the morning. Fair enough. But I mean, my big problem today is just the antihistamines. Yeah, well, I got this. I drink multiple of these a day. I have no idea. Remembering that a lot of the medications here have gone under different names. So, I mean, the one I took today was Allergex, which is pretty much over-the-counter stuff. But the other one is called something with an M, I think. That's the one I'm supposed to take, because it doesn't dry out everything. DIY Ivy Drip. Yep. It's definitely one way to do it. So, in my youth, I got lots of tattoos. And not even just in my youth. I got a lot of tattoos. But only this year did I realize how much of a pain it is, because in my right arm, which is pretty much a sleeve, they can't give me an IV. Because the tattoos cover all the veins that they would normally use for an IV. So they have to use my left hand, or arm, which has got clear space on it. So, random thing. Ugh. And then, I mean, the lack of sleep will have affected my voice, but also would have affected my concentration. So they can't see the veins. They need to be able to see the vein to put an IV in. If you can't see the vein, you can't find the vein, you can't put an IV in. Because veins don't always stick out when they do the clenched fist trick. Mine don't. So they become darker, so you can see them through the skin. But if you have a tattoo over it, they can't see it. Oh yeah. So I mean, there's that spot there. As you can see, I've got a scar there from this here. Come on. Nope, it doesn't want to focus. Anyway, I've got a scar there from a drip. And then they take from this hand and then from here. Because on this side, there is no space to see veins. Yeah, well, none of the hospitals I've visited this year have fancy technology to find veins. So we had to do it the good old-fashioned way. They start with the good ones, and then they move to more painful ones. They also don't like doing a drip and, what do they call it? an injection point. They don't like doing it on the same arm, but they end up having to do it with me. So yeah, there is that. But hey, we're packing, chat. We're packing. So this is hopeful. This is good news. Stuff is happening. We've got a list of stuff that we need to sort it out. We're sorting it out, but we're on the final hurdle. And packing and sending our crap in a container is one of those hurdles. Yeah, this year they've had to go in the hands, which is whatever. No. Strangely enough, you need more vaccinations moving in Africa than you do moving from Africa to Europe. So in Africa, South Africa, we've got travel clinics. So if you're going to travel anywhere in Africa, you go to the travel clinic, you say, I'm going to Ghana. And they'll be like, cool. Here are the 15 injections you need to go to Ghana. Here's a special document that says all the vaccines that you've got, and then you can go to Ghana. Are you going to Nigeria? Well, you'll need these extra 2 injections. So I'm pretty much vaccinated up by European standards. I mean, I haven't got my polio updated recently. I haven't got my tetanus updated recently. I'm trying to think of it. Whooping cough? No, what's the other one? There's another one that I haven't updated recently. Oh, not tetanus. Typhoid. That one I haven't updated recently. So the stuff will probably take 3 months. From when it leaves here to when it arrives there is going to be 3 months. So we kind of need to plan that we send it before we leave, obviously, and that we'll be there by the time it arrives. So we've got 3 months leeway. A lot of the places do offer some storage facilities in case there's a problem. So we want to get the packing of all the non-essential stuff done as soon as possible, and then get it on a ship. Yeah, no, I mean, I've had a crook of elbow. I've had, like I said, I've got a scar here from one of the visits. I've got a scar here from one of the other visits. On this hand, they find it here. On this hand, they go over here. It is what it is. But we do have a savior today. We've got some we have go-go juice. Yeah, basically. But we'll have to keep our computers and my studio stuff here. The plan is we're going to put all the non-essential stuff into the container and send it. So like beds and stuff as well. We're not taking beds. We'll buy beds over there. Then we'll get rid of all the stuff that isn't being sent and isn't essential. And then when we've got an exact date, we're going to DHL the computers to the destination. And then meet the computers on that side. So that'll take 48 hours. It's expensive, but for the computers it's viable, because on that side we need to start recording as fast as possible. So sending the computers over via DHL is pretty much the only choice. And then the last couple of days while we're here, we'll probably be in an Airbnb or a motel or hotel, because we'll have to sell the beds, we'll have to sell all the other stuff. The computer chairs, those aren't going. Even though they're brand new computer chairs, they're not going. The computer tables aren't going, so we need to get rid of that stuff. Yeah, I'll get some of those peanut packs that expand. So that is the plan currently. I used to have, the veins in my hands used to stick out a lot more, but I never liked using them. I still don't like using them, but they have very little choice now. But my veins don't stick out nearly as much as they used to. I suppose I need to change it. We're not arting today, we're chatting. Just chatting. And sneezing, yes. Just sneezing. Right. So you get these packs, which are basically expanding foam in a Ziploc bag, would be the best description. And you crank them and you put them in the case and they expand, so none of the components shake. So everything's got pressure on it, but not too much pressure, and it holds everything in place. So it's the way computers should be shipped. So what you would do is you would open the case, put this in, crack it. You probably need 2 or 3. Crack them, close the case, and it'll expand and take up all the air so that everything's got pressure on it and it's not going to pop out. Pretty cool tech. No, this immigration thing's been happening for 18 months now, almost, a little bit longer. So we've been trying to get out the country for at least that long. So pre-planned. The move from the old house to this current house, that wasn't pre-planned, but when I was in hospital for my emergency sinus operation, that night there were 2 murders and 3 hijackings in the immediate vicinity around the house where my wife was, alone. So it was kind of like, okay, I can't be there, so we'll move someplace a bit safer in the interim. So we got rid of a bunch of stuff then. And that's helped with the moving. And now we'll get rid of everything else. I mean, I barely hear gunshots in this neighborhood. It's awesome. So, I mean, it was also not only that day. The whole week while I was in surgery, the whole month around that, there was a massive crime spree in the area. Worse than we'd seen in a long time. So it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna rent out a house for a little while. Yeah. So we started that. That was quite expensive. The pet vaccinations. Mainly because of rabies. They had to take the blood and then send it to Germany for verification of no rabies, because there is no certified lab in South Africa that Europe accepts. So that cost a couple pennies. And then all the other vaccinations were pretty simple. We just had to get a detailed list of what they got, when they got it, and who gave it. No one fires a single shot in anger. Yes, very much. Yeah, normally it'll either be an AK or a 9mm. Those are the most common ones. In my area. Well, my old area. There are only really 2 types of gunshots that you should really pay attention to. Those that you should worry about and those that you shouldn't. The closer they are, the more you worry about them. The further away they are, the less you worry about them. It doesn't matter what the caliber is. Right outside your door, you should probably worry. 10 blocks down, yeah, less worry. Yeah, fair enough. Well, if it gets you right, if it gets you in the arm, you'll hear it. If you get it in the head, not so much. Yes, I do. I lived closer to the center of the city. I'm now further away out. I live in Johannesburg. I lived basically central Johannesburg for most of my life. Now we've moved probably 40 kilometers away from the city. We were still in a city, a smaller city, or... Good morning, Matty. I hope you're doing well. So Johannesburg has about 2 million people, at least. Center of Joburg is a war zone most days. Places where cops rarely go. Yeah, it is what it is. I used to live about 5 kilometers away from, or 10 kilometers, 5 to 10 kilometers away from CBD. Not the worst area, but definitely not the best area. Not even the okayest of areas. Ugh. But in the meantime, we continue working on the website. Hopefully we'll have something to show by the end of this month. But it is what it is. And then I also want to improve my spreadsheet into a database. And then also build up a backup server. So lots of stuff to do still. Yeah, it might be interesting, but I think it would be too political for most people. I probably wouldn't cover it due to potential political stuff. Look, in South Africa, where I was, definitely not the worst. There are places where if I go there, I will die. And that's not a euphemism, that is just a fact. Problem with cloud backups is they're expensive. Because we've got terabytes of data to back up. And the current one doesn't... It's slow. It's so slow. If you have any file bigger than 5 gigs, it takes forever. So that's why I was moving to physical backup. Excuse me, to make it easier. And then that'll be DHL'd across as well. So sort of a higher level of shipping. Good morning, Captain No Name. Hope you're doing well. And Kandaria. Hope you're doing well as well. Both, Joel. Joe, sorry, not Joel. Both. Places do have 5G, which is fine. 5G is equivalent to your lower end Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi, fiber. So as long as they got 5G, it's fine. That's why I bought a new phone as well. Some of you may remember the old brick phone. I think I showed it off, but I bought a new phone so that it had 5G. Also, Starlink is available in Portugal, as well as most of the other satellite internets. It's one internet. Yeah, the problem is, the moment you put corporate onto anything, the price spirals ridiculously. So what we'll do is, we'll ship a DHL. Should be fine. I might do a final backup to the cloud before we go, but I currently have over there a 90 terabyte backup computer. Just missing some components, and once I get those components, I will fix it up so that we can have our 90 terabytes of backup. No, I'm not narrating today, I don't think. My voice isn't great. Didn't sleep well. Sinuses are poked. So I've taken antihistamines, which tend to mess with my voice as well. So you probably won't be pushing narration today. Yeah. I'm not worried about the speed in Europe or Portugal. 5G is always a good thing to fall back on. But if the house needs to meet certain requirements, and if I have 5G, it being in a fiber neighborhood doesn't matter. But the other requirements are pretty much set in stone. Like, I need a studio, I need pet friendly, I need 4 bedrooms at least. So all of those need to be met before I start worrying about internet. That's awesome, Peanut. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Might go visit it. Yeah, not on duty. Oh, thank you, Joe. Thank you. Look, I mean, the place where I lived, there were people that refused to go there. The neighborhoods on either side of me, more people refused to go there. And within 5 kilometers, it's basically just gang territory. And you want to avoid it. Some of the dodgiest places in Gauteng. Good day, Draven Nightcry. Hope you're doing well. I have no idea. Maybe biltong. 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 It is a glorious substance. It is loosely our form of jerky, but it is way better. And I don't just say that because jerky is smoked and prepared slightly differently. Biltong is not smoked, it is heat dried, or dried with the weather. So it's squishy, which makes a difference. And there's plenty of places like that in South Africa, Marcus. Yeah, possibly slow motion. No comment. My only comment is I'm leaving. So if I had hope about it, I would stay, but I'm leaving. Well, fair enough. I mean, I can understand having weird work hours. Probably. I'll get to that one eventually, Charles. I'm doing it more in chronological order, so it'll be a while, but I'll probably get to it. Fair enough, John? Fair enough. Yeah. Every person I've met that's eaten jerky and biltong have said that biltong is way better. So, there it is. There are some places that sell it in the States. Yeah, onwards and upwards. Or at least onwards. To a less violent place would be nice. Yeah. It's not great. I mean, some places are better than others, so... So I lived in a rougher area, so my experience in South Africa is very different than people that lived in the more affluent areas. But it is what it is. More places in South Africa are not affluent, so it's more the norm than what you get in I mean, here it's fine. I mean, there's no screaming, there's no shouting, there's no drunks, there's no gunshots normally. Police sirens once every couple of days. You know, nothing too bad. All of those things are like a daily occurrence in the old house. Well, if they don't exist on Reddit, I can't read them. So, there's that. I am planning on trying to back up all the stories that I've done, so that if I need to redo them, I will have the text, but currently I don't have that. Yeah. Look, when you live in a place like this, you get used to it. I mean, when I was in my 20s, I worked in a very corporate very corporate environment. And the one day I was standing there talking to them, and I went to a trade school in a bad area, and they went to a private school in a good area. And you go like, you didn't have drug dealers? You didn't have robberies at school? Knives were common, you know. It's not even an offense to carry a knife. All that they did in my school was, take the knife away and give it back to you at the end of term. There was no warnings, there was no suspensions, there was no nothing. It was just, naughty, give me your knife, come get it back at the end of term. And this horrified the people that grew up in the affluent areas. So, but you get used to the stuff. It is what it is. It's normal. What's it? Hedonic something. Hedonic adaptation. There you go. Look, I've read most of the old stories. It depends on the authors. So once every couple months, I go and I look at the top posts for the last couple months. And then from there, I ask authors for blanket permission. And if they have an old story in that, and it did fairly well, I'll read that old story. So it's more about finding authors with good stories rather than finding good stories. Yeah, I mean, your adaptation to your environment is so much broader when you're a child, even a teenager in high school. But when I was in primary school, which is around about 94, 95, we used to have classes where they would teach us how to identify IEDs. And if we found an IED, who we're supposed to talk about once we found the IED. And we must keep an eye out for IEDs. And the police would come on a regular basis and give us lectures on what does a grenade look like, what does a claymore look like. If you see one of these, go find a police officer. That sort of thing. That's what we had to deal with in primary school at that time. And then we would have bomb drills every 3 months. We were full on. And the kids would leave the classrooms, we would go out into the field, the cops would come in, they would sweep the grounds, and then they would let us back in. It was perfectly normal for the time. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, the teachers were... in your private schools, carrying a knife would be a problem, but public schools wasn't that much of a problem. They'd just, if they caught you playing with a knife, they would just confiscate it and give it back to you in a couple of months. So it was really not a no-brainer. Even though it was against the school rules, technically. They just didn't care. Yep. You can get used to almost everything, anything. Well, I mean, that's also a thing. Your more rural places will be more accepting of the more, I want to say, guns and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that is very similar to what South Africa was like in the 90s. Yeah, wild time all around. I mean, there are still some places that are that bad. I don't claim to have lived the hardest life, ever. I just lived my life. Plenty of people have had. More people have had worse lives than me than have had better. No, thank you, Peanut. It's much appreciated. Look, I mean, threatening another person with a knife is very different than carrying a knife. So I can understand probably doing that. But the school I went to was a step above reformatory. So they were a lot more lenient on a lot of stuff. Yeah. I still stand by that. I mean, especially with the channel. It's like, look, I don't know anybody else's stuff. I tell stories to help people through the day, to make money, to entertain, all of that stuff. I don't want to drag real-world stuff into it. If you want real-world stuff, there are plenty of places to go for that. But I think everybody needs a little bit of escapism from time to time. I mean, it obviously becomes a problem if you're doing it all the time, but I think a little bit of escapism is healthy. Yeah, it's all relative. Gang violence is gang violence. Oh, thank you, Rolando. Yeah. If you want, there's news, there's political commentators, there's Crime Watch channels, there's all of that stuff. If you're into that stuff, I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk about aliens and humans doing stupid stuff. Don't know. Star Trek could be there. It depends on which Star Trek. But I can't remember all the series I've watched. Fair enough, slow motion. Fair enough. Trying to think. I know it wasn't a series. It was that movie with Will Smith. That was horrible. And his son. That was... Oh. And I mean, I'm a connoisseur of bad movies, but that was just bad in a very bad way. A different way. It wasn't bad in a funny way. It was bad in a bad way. Well, I mean, you want to be able to choose what you want, so I try to make as many a variety of stories as possible to entertain people without straying into the real world. Yes, After Earth. That was a horrible movie. It was hyped up to the... Good morning, Real Sombrero. Sombrero, I hope you're doing well. We're having a good old chinwag session, a Q&A, but that's every day. Just having a chill and chat today. I might do some narrations later, but it'll probably be off stream. Yeah, I enjoyed MIB1. MIB2 was kind of bleh. Hancock I enjoyed, but... Fair enough, fair enough. Maybe drink some hydration. Gatorade. Well, I haven't seen the new June movie. I vaguely remember watching the old June movie. Though I've looked at that tool, and last time I looked, it hadn't been updated recently. And there was a lot of glitches with it. No, I haven't watched it. Is it one of his new ones? I haven't watched too many recent movies. Yeah, I mean, Men in Black was fine. What else? Hancock was fine. The first, Independence Day was good. One of my favorite movies. But not specifically because of Will Smith. It really... The character that makes... This is going to be controversial. The character that makes Independence Day so good is the pilot. The drunk pilot. He's the only person that has a character arc. He grows through the film, which is what you want. I think they make messed up a lot of drinks when they make it into a soft drink or a cool drink. Attack from Mars. God, that was funny. Yeah, I watched the second one and was like, bleh. It had nothing like the first one. It shouldn't have been made into a sequel. Yes, Randy Quaid. Well, I do have Netflix, so I might watch some stuff. Maybe. But there's still boxes to be packed, furniture to be moved, organizing to be done, recording to be had. I think if there's a story that is 3 chapters long, like, let's go with The Lord of the Rings, the classic trilogy. One could argue the original trilogy. That's fine. They have, each section should have its own beginning, middle, and end. And then an overarching story that goes across all 3. What happens is they make one movie with a complete story, and it becomes popular. So then they just try to spread it over more movies, whereas they haven't set anything up in the first film, and it's incongruous across all 3. So if the story is written as a trilogy to start off with, I think it could work as a movie, the 1, 2, and 3. But if it isn't, then you're going to struggle. Yes, Galaxy Quest. Never give up, never surrender. Neither. I mean, I would love more one-shots on the subreddit, but I'm not particularly looking for anything right now. Specific. Oh, Critters. Critters was funny, Clowns was funny. Oh, yes. Words to build a movie around. Definitely, Lord Volpex. Jack Black's been on a lot of things. Not one of my favorite actors. Yeah. But I mean, you get stories that, was only ever meant, like The Hobbit. So The Hobbit was only supposed to be 1/2 books, and then they made it into 3 movies. 1/2 movies, and then they forced it to be 3, so they ruined it, in my opinion. Space Pocahontas. Yeah. I watched it. It was Space Pocahontas. I don't really know what else to say. Look, his sense of humor is very, very specific, so I need to be in the right mood to enjoy Jack Black. Yes. Gremlins is a classic. 3? There was a 3, wasn't there? Wasn't great. There was a Gremlins 3, yes. It was not great. Maybe? I don't know. IMDb reckons there is one, but it's got no information, so. Look, I'll be honest with you. I was never, not a huge Star Wars fan. I've watched the movies, and that's about it. The first trilogy, and then the second trilogy. And then I watched one of the new ones, and that's it. Short Circuit. Wally, the original, big one. Yes, I remember Short Circuit. There was like 2 movies with Short Circuit. Yep, Event Horizon, pretty cool horror movie. Oh, right. Look, I'd say 1, 2, 3 specifically because I watched them fresh from the cinema, rather than it being old and everybody telling me how good it is. I could actually make the decision myself with 1, 2, 3. So, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite sci-fi movies, it's stupid. It's not a good, well, it's an okay movie. It's Battle for Los Angeles. Because I like that actor. And it's a very HFY story. I think I've watched it a dozen times. It is a 2011 film. Aliens or even Terminator 2 is still fine. Yeah. So Battle LA is what it's called. Or Battle Los Angeles. Like I said, it was a good science fiction movie because it didn't preach to me about anything. It was just a shoot the aliens, save the planet. Which is fine. And I like that it focused more on the macro or micro things like a single unit rather than the macro of the whole defense. Yeah, I'm keen for like new series, new properties. But again, I don't get much time to watch. Nowhere near as much time as I did in my 20s. Those movies are awesome. They're bad, but they're awesome. They're so bad, but they're awesome. The sci-fi movies. Sci-fi originals. Oh, so bad, so good. Yeah, people forget that there are other types of movies. Atlas looks interesting. No clue. There are a lot of movies that are great as long as you don't read the book. Good morning, Wolfos. I hope you're doing well. I think good science fiction entertains first. And in those that are entertained, especially in the youth, will try and make it happen. So you need to make it entertaining, not necessarily thought-provoking. I'm going to be right back. Just need to pop to the bathroom.
Set sail on a ship, to the stars we shall roam, through the vastness of space, no place like our home. Hoist the sails high, let the solar winds blow. This cosmic sea shanty is a tale we all know. Navigating constellations, charting the unknown. With the stardust in our veins, we are never alone. From the Milky Way shores to the depths of black holes, we'll sing our sea shanty as the universe unfolds. Sail up high to the galactic sky on our moonlit voyage. We'll keep reaching high. We're sailors of the cosmos, a crew full of might. Let's sing this sea shanty under starry night's light.
Hoist the sails and let the wind guide our way. We're the spacemen sailing the cosmic bay. From Jupiter to Saturn we'll deliver our freight on our starship, sailing through the interplanetary strait. With a hardy crew and a cargo of dreams, through the nebula's mist we'll forge our own schemes.
I'm back.
Vastness of space where no man has been, we'll navigate, chart the unexplored galactic highway.
Look, my job is to entertain people. It is nothing more, nothing less. I'm not qualified to do anything more or less. And I'm barely qualified at entertaining people. But that's what I aim to do, to the best of my ability. I have no scientific background, so my knowledge on science is basically just amateur stuff. Same with any other field, really. And it again goes back to escapism. And if you want science knowledge, you go to a science channel. If you want entertainment, you come here. Some of the stories I read are just have zero science backing, and that's fine. The main point is it entertaining? And if it's entertaining, then you can go, sure. The science doesn't work, but who cares? I had a good time. Look, I would say that Princess of Mars was the first HFY. And Alice in Wonderland was the first isekai. Yeah, could be philosophy. Could be people don't understand the science and use it wrong. Doesn't matter. If something is entertaining enough, people will overlook those things. It depends, I'd say. Isekai is going to a parallel dimension, basically, if you think about it. So, if it's a science fiction story where they're going to a parallel dimension, it could be an isekai. Or a portal fantasy, whatever you want to call it. I have no idea where it comes from. In the HFY channel, I think it might come from the J-verse, as they popularized it, but I really don't know. Yeah. But another world would be, I think, more inferred. It's another dimension rather than a different planet. Oh my goodness. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah. Entertainment, I think, is first, especially in a narration channel. No. I'm pretty sure Narnia didn't come out before. Hmm. 1950 is when Narnia first came out. And Alice in Wonderland was written in 1865. So, slight date difference. Oh yes, Truck-kun is a serial killer. It's probably the worst one. Good morning, Ben. I hope you're doing well today. Unfortunately, no narrations happening today. Voices a little under the weather. I haven't slept well, and sinuses are, Mondaying. So, there are all of those things. Yeah. Well, no, it would just be death. The anthropomorphization of death driving that. Or Charon. Whichever way you want to pronounce it. That's very true. Oh, Lord. Hopefully it's the case. But as with much in life, you take it one day at a time, overcome the problems, and do what you need to do. Charon seems to be one of those words that's pronounced as differently as possible in as many as countries. No. Can't remember. I do remember one of my favorite, what was the other series? It was like, Twilight Zone. And it was a remake when I was a kid. Give me a second. Outer Limits. Yes, Outer Limits. So, I watched quite a few of those in the 90s, I want to say. So the name has actually very little to do with squirrels. It has a lot to do with the movie Up. In that movie, all the dogs, they would stop and go, squirrel! So it's a code word that me and my friends used as easily distracted. So I'm aggressive and easily distracted is basically what it means. I used to really enjoy the movie. It was a pretty cool movie. Yeah, that sounds pretty much the same thing. Tales from the Crypt. This movie is PG, parental guidance. So guide your parents out the room so that you can watch the movie. The one that's not like that. I'm easily distracted. Easily tangential as well. Go on weird paths. So it made sense when I created the channel. I was like, you need to think of a name. Yes. I think I've only ever actually seen one squirrel in real life. Maybe. It was the oddest thing ever. I was sitting on the side of the highway watching traffic. I don't think squirrels are pretty common in South Africa. I don't even think they're... That is... Yep, a ground squirrel. Cape ground squirrel. I don't live in Cape Town, but I've seen one. We do have some squirrels. We've got meerkats as well, which are basically squirrels, but they dig holes. I think short stories are a nice way to experience a wide variety of concepts. I also think people like to binge. That's why I do my channel the way I do, my series channel. So people can just get a nice chunk of content in one go. Yeah, I mean, that one in the picture, this one is just an AI generated. But it is a normal red squirrel, I think. But in Johannesburg, where I lived, most wild animals you'd see are pigeons or rats. So... Good morning, Alternative. Alternvita. And Amok. I hope you're doing well today. You can fear the beard if you so choose. I don't. That's why I keep it. Also, my wife would divorce me if I ever cut my beard. Yeah, rats and rats with wings, basically. And parked cockroaches and parked up prawns and ants. Lots and lots of ants. Fair enough, Alt. Fair enough. I will try and remember that. It's been okay. I'm alive, so that's great. It's a Monday morning, however, so less so. Due to sinuses, hay fever, antihistamines, and lack of sleep, I'm not narrating today. How is your morning going? I know I'm looking all over the place, but I'm not just being distracted. I'm looking at stuff on screens. No. But I don't normally drink tea, so... I've had a cup of coffee. I've had 2 cups of coffee. Yeah, fair enough. Time travel confuses all language. To be fair, Postmatic, your name is different. It doesn't show the full name. So on Twitch, it shows Postmatic, and on YouTube, it shows Marcus Post. So. Well, thank you, Nathan. It's very much appreciated. I'm glad you enjoy the content. And I'm glad you popped by. It's very much appreciated. Yeah, these are called in-ear headphones. IED, I think. In-ear headphones. No, IED headphones. Yes, IED headphones. If you've watched any live concert with musicians, you've seen these. This is what they use. Basically, these are the cheap ones. But, yeah. So, I mean, they block out all the noise. They fit to your ear. The really expensive ones, they actually take a mold of your ear and make these, but this is a pre-bought one. A mock, I do not have advice for healing from a gambling addiction. Take it one day at a time, seek help. That's all I can. Same with any other addiction. I wish I had some magic words to make it easier, but I don't. Yeah, and I mean, on YouTube it's so difficult to change the name. And in some ways it'll always be the... So my original channel name is still pretty much in all the links. And there's nothing I can do to change it. Other than creating a new channel, which is not going to happen. Good morning, Squirrel Lords Gaming. Hope you're doing well. Look, my only... I gave up smoking, so I have given up an addiction. And my only advice is never think that you've not done it for long enough that you can do it a little bit. If you give up, you have to give up forever. You can't even remotely go back, because then you're back 100%. Dovakin, good morning, hope you're doing well. Dragon Age, the new one. Or newish one, the re-release. I heard it's quite bad on PC. Yeah, yes. Squirrels are multiplying, but you better be careful. I have no idea. But I mean, we're almost... let me have a look-see. Why did I close it? Anyways. I think we're approaching 365 days. I could be wrong. Oh yes. We're at 340 days of uptime on the 24-hour stream. Quite happy with that. So only 25 days, and we would have had a full year uninterrupted. which is pretty cool. When I was updating the playlist, I was so not afraid. I suppose afraid. I was worried that I'd crash the stream. Battery acid with enough caffeine in it is worth it. I don't know. I enjoy them. Also depends on the flavor. The green one, which is this one, it's the magic one. I enjoy this one. Some of the others I don't. There's so many energy drinks in the market these days. I'm sure you can find something you enjoy. My limitation is it has to be sugar-free. Probably not. When I was in my 20s, maybe, but now not so much. The pressure from doing that will mess with my acid reflux. So, gotta be careful. Nikea, good morning. Hope you're doing well. I don't like the coffee flavored drinks. They always just taste a bit off to me. No, I'm not in my 20s. I appreciate the compliment though, but I'm not in my 20s. I'm not even in my 30s. So I mean with Monster I like the green one or the white one. They're decent. Yeah, I think most science fiction enjoyers are gamers to some. I think most people are gamers today. It's not like it was 30 years ago. That's fair enough, Gene. Fair enough. But I've had so many bad experiences with coffee flavored that I don't even try it anymore. That is a South African with English father and Scottish mother. And that's the accent. So, it's a mutt accent. A conglomeration of a smorgasbord of different accents. 30 years ago, you could still be a gamer at the arcade. Or even Nintendo was around 30 years ago. That's fair enough. But there is no true gamer. As long as you play games and you enjoy them, you're a gamer, in my books. That's pretty cool, Nigel. No, I don't know Elon Musk. I think he left a long time. He left in the 80s, I think. If I remember correctly. He is from South Africa, but he hasn't been here in a very long time. Nathan, I have. If you go look for the 100,000 subscriber special, that is a short story written by me. And narrated by me. So, that is the only instance, really, on the channel of me writing. Yeah, I mean, 30 years ago, it wasn't as common, but you could still get them. Now, you just need a phone, and you can be a gamer. You got a computer in your hand. And that's how common they are these days. Yeah, I mean, 30 years ago I was playing Magic the Gathering, D&D, Super Mario. Fair enough, Lord Volpex. I suppose if you don't like coffee flavor doesn't work for you. 30 years ago is 1995, yes. So, let me just double check. Diablo 1 would have been released. Diablo 1. Diablo 1 was released in 1997. So, not that long ago. There was computer games. And Diablo 1 also did have multiplayer, so... fair enough. But he probably wouldn't give it to you. He's a very strange man, Elon. You've probably got more power in your phone than a Pentium 3. Probably even the early Pentium 4s. Yeah, I don't. I had an NES once, and I don't know where it is now. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of board games that didn't really catch on. I mean, I think the most the recent one would be MetaZoo, I want to say. A calculator has more power than the computer for the first moon landing. Well, there's already a Planet X. If you like your conspiracy theories, there's a Planet X. It's going to come and destroy Earth at some point. Yeah, I don't like the digital stuff. I mean, it's handy, but it's also not. Look, I've said it repeatedly. I personally don't like personally to listen to AI channels, but I'm not going to bemoan them for doing what they want to do. They, however, need to ask for permission. So if they're not asking the authors for permission, they need to start asking the authors for permission. And then it's up to the audience to decide what they want. Some people may prefer AI. I don't know. But most of those channels don't ask for permission and therefore are breaking the law. So they need to sort of get with the program and ask for permission. Most authors wouldn't begrudge them. But I think it is the decent thing to do to ask for permission. Hey, I mispronounce words occasionally. That's awesome, Nikea. That's awesome. Sounds interesting. The Pastafarians, yes, definitely. All hail the Pastafarians and the Spaghetti Monster. I tried AI a long time ago. People didn't like it, so I didn't do it. I made a channel called like a TTS Theatre, and I would use different voices for different characters and all of that, but it never took on. No, that's true, I'm in Kira. You could just tie in some stuff. Because I think a lot of them aren't actually native English speakers, so they don't understand necessarily the whole story. Well, I mean, there is a generation of people that have grown up with only TTS, or mostly TTS, so to them that's normal. Probably not. Don't know why Google would want my voice. They have enough money to buy any voice they want. I mean, YouTube and Google already have enough reference material of my voice. Thousands upon thousands of hours. I have no idea what a Vocaloid is. Vocaloid is a singing synthesizer. Not AI, from what I can see. It is just like auto-tune. I'm busy trying to read what it is. I have no idea. Well, humans started off dumb, and we eventually got to where we are, still dumb. So, time. Time will change everything. I think the only thing Sci-fi got wrong was the timing on when computers would get better and smarter and all of that. Although they're still a million times more intuitive than they were 20 years ago. I don't want flying cars. I've seen people drive on roads. I shudder to think what flying cars would be like. Worse. Look. I don't know where AI is going to go. It is going to go somewhere. But that's a tomorrow problem. Today, we're going to listen to some stories and narrate some stories. And I try not to worry about tomorrow too much. Or next week, or next month, or next year. Just worry about today first, and then maybe worry about the AI apocalypse at some point. Fair enough, fair enough. But I mean, technology accelerates so fast. The moment fusion, they can reliably do fusion, it'll change the world. Drastically, quickly. Opens up so many doors if you've got fusion. Just power. So the Kardashev scale. Look, you sure? I think there's a lot of technological steps we'd need to take to make sure that it was safe enough to do. Just remember that if a car breaks down, you're still on the ground. But if a plane breaks down, you're not on the ground. So, you will be, shortly, but there's quite a big difference. It's the same between running and swimming. If you get a cramp when you run, you just stop. If you get a cramp when you're swimming, you're pretty fecked. Look, there's many technological threads out there that if they happen and are discovered, will change the world drastically. And the thing about technology is sometimes you don't even see it coming, or whatever the technology is. Yeah, but I mean, for Outrigrish, in theory, anything technologically related will need more power. So, as technology ramps up, more and more power is needed. So, we need a way to generate more power. I mean, think about how difficult it is to get into space because we don't have a decent engine to get into space. But if we have a fusion reactor, we might be able to do it via electrical means. Yeah. I mean, you can start doing, what was it, the maglev stuff. Yeah, well, there's tons of stuff that's more advanced that isn't public. Yeah, but there was a time when people were doing that all over. PS2s as well, PS3s. Raspberry Pis. Used to be a bunch of tech you could do to make your own DIY supercomputer at home. They just use the same concept. Look, we also need to understand that Fukushima was hit by 2 9-point-something earthquakes and 1 tsunami. So, very little can survive that. So, I mean, there's a very big difference between Chernobyl. Chernobyl was mismanagement and then not understanding the long-term effects and runaway reactions. Although I did read a thing that they're thinking or starting to work on thorium reactors, which are supposedly a lot safer. So, I mean, there's plenty of tech. It just needs money. I think today still the average year death toll for nuclear reactors is still less than most other forms of energy. I mean, I think France gets 80% of its power from nuclear reactors. Yeah, money and time. If you have infinite money on a problem, you'll eventually solve it. If it's solvable. Anyways, guys. I am quite knackered, so I think I'm going to call it a day. I do apologize for A, being a short stream, and B, not being a narration stream. But I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, 10 a.m. GMT +2. And then hopefully tomorrow, feeling better, we can get some narrations done. Can have more of a chit-chat, a chin-wag, and all of that stuff. And I hope you all have a fantastic day, wherever you may be and whatever you may be doing. Thank you for spending your time with me. It's very much appreciated. I'll see you all tomorrow.